sanctuary if you're ready tonight. I know that it's all so heavy. Won't you let me inside? 'Cause I could be your sanctuary.
What's up guys, hope everyone is doing well. In today's video I'm going to be going over my updates for the macro projections for Dogecoin and for Matic, and at the end I will likely touch on a very brief update for Bitcoin on the daily chart. Let's go ahead and get it started here. For Dogecoin, the analyses, the way that I'm presenting them is essentially going to be the same for all of the macro updates I come out with in the near future, and of the two recently. I'm sure that those of you who have already been watching it can already kind of tell the similarities between those, but nonetheless, each of these pink dots on here, and then up here we have our pink ellipse, line up with our, as I have them on this RSI, you can see right now reaching the highly oversold territory each time. You can see there's been two specific points, and me personally, I just consider this ellipse essentially as two dots. Obviously you can see there's typically a period of time in between both of these dots right here. For all intents and purposes, I could just have one dot right here for the beginning of the printing, and then one dot right here for the very ending of the printing. But we've come out, you can see we're still entrenched below basically the golden trend line, if you will, that we need to cross. It's specifically around like 64 here for Dogecoin. You can see each time we're entrenched on this lower range, we are basically in bearish mode. When we are above it, we are in bullish mode. Goes back to this area right here when we had the break above, right here when we had our break above, and then basically right here when we had our break above for the previous two times that Dogecoin saw bullish behavior. But for the price chart, we can see here that I have with these black highlights here, both of these basically are just seeing a fractal-like repetition of the only other bull market that Dogecoin has seen. This time it's happening over a longer period of time, and also the gains are more drastic as well compared to the previous one that I have on here. You can see the ascending white dashed trend line range back here. We acted as resistance, bull market, absolute bull market resistance. Right here it acted as resistance from February 2021 to around April 2021, consolidated literally sideways until we finally broke above it with a parabolic leap in price to solidify action above that. We came back down to it right here from around January 2022 to April of 2022. We were possibly finding some support. Eventually we just got rejected into it, and then below it through it towards this first double bottom we set right here. First bottom being June of 2022, second being around October of 2022. Ever since then, we stopped printing the pink vectors associated with this pink ellipse. We had this most major relief, bullish relief in price from around 6 cents all the way up to at 16 cents. So about a 10-cent jump in price. Ever since then, we've just been basically, as you can see here, just consolidating with a slight downwards orientation, but borderline sideways towards the very apex of this triangle that I have on here. Again, I'm kind of just pointing out a macro bull flag, not necessarily calling it a textbook one or an orthodox one at that, but I'm just pointing out the fact that we are trading within a clear support right here going back to March of 2021, and we're still being held below this resistance going all the way back to May 2021 when Dogecoin hit its high at approximately 74 cents. Right now we can see here, if I take off the drawings and even the price or the candles, you can see that the moving averages are all currently converging towards basically a center point of around 8.5 cents. So that is also just similar to back here, 2016 to 17, then basically right here from around 2019 to 2020 before we got bullish reliefs in the price. So right now, again, we are still seeing basically 9 to 10 cents as what I've been pointing out recently. Once we break that, we'll likely have then a jump up to this white dashed trend line zone that I pointed out that has been basically, for the most part, a resistance. Once we break out above that 9 to 10 cents, likely we would push, at least according to this fractal pattern, going back to the phase cycle system used for Bitcoin, then applying that to everything else, the altcoins. If anybody's new to the content and you haven't seen those yet, the first two cards at the beginning of this video will have me more in depth going over that theory for Bitcoin and basically the self-similarity across the entire cryptocurrency market. But anyways, so once we do break that 9 to 10 cents, heading towards around 20 cents, basically towards 30 cents, so approximately 20 to 30 cents likely would sit there, consolidate for some period of time. I'm not really going to give a length, but just for some period of time, and then likely, according to this, we would then have a pretty quick jump, because that means that would also line up with basically meeting this last area right here circled in red, where we could likely find some traction overall for the price, finding some sort of consolidation, but also line up with then breaking above these two areas right here, so around April, March of 2022, and then right here in November of 2022 with the most recent bullish relief we got. We would basically come up above that, find rejection, resistance at basically 20 cents, come back down, maybe test around 15 cents at the lowest, and then jump up towards the price target range that I'll give in this video at highest, as you can probably clearly see, as I've been pointing out for some time, around just 22 to 20, approximately just $25, give or take like $2-3. We can also see that we are bottoming out, going all the way back to June on this 0.618 of the top to bottom fib retracement of the most recent bull run down to the low associated with that bull run. But back to the high. The golden pocket range I use lies from 13 all the way up to 36. If it does push any higher than, I think it's like $30 or $32, but then it would start to be, especially if this tops out around the same time, Bitcoin tops out and going into next year, then it would be worth more than Bitcoin. I don't really see that happening at all. And pushing $27 is basically when it will be about like $500,000 to $1 million less in market valuation. And as far as I'm concerned, in my personal opinion of the market, as long as something doesn't surpass the market valuation of Bitcoin, it can get close to it, but as long as it doesn't pass it, it's not that big of a deal. But at the end of the day, all of these market valuations of altcoins, including Bitcoin, will have to factor into the overall price targets of the entire market cap of the entire cryptocurrency space. If it doesn't hit that 13 to basically we'll just say $27, so approximately $13 to $27, then $1.82 up to basically $4 would be the the other range I would be looking out for personally. So down here on the MACD, we can see we got a bullish flip of momentum going all the way back to when we got that relief rally leading into November of last year. And not to really bother to go ahead and show it, but each of these pink dots that I have on the price and on the RSI, each of these that I've already shown, also basically roughly line up with the prior MACD bullish flips as well. Here for our volume-based indicator, we can again see we've been seeing basically a bullish divergence, a convergence towards the 0 point, building up this pressure during the bear market to then release that for the upcoming bull market. You can see that the divergence towards the upside, you could say more realistically began November of 2021, but I mean if we go all the way back to July of 2021, you can see the price obviously was going down the entire time up here, but the volume-based indicator was continuing to kind of just go towards the upside. Again, I could do this similar thing that I drew on here yesterday, and how we're just we had this massive dip into the bear market. Now we're basically building up similar to a tornado, hitting an apex point, then we'll eventually break towards the upside overall there. And again, in terms of time frames, just to lay it out, like I said, sometime next year, likely around beginning of next year, January, February. This goes to Bitcoin as well, and I'm mainly speaking about Bitcoin. And then around June, July, August. So basically first half of next year is when I believe the market will be topping out, including Bitcoin and most of the altcoins as well. Some of them may lag, some of them may even top out a little bit earlier, but what really matters is, like I said in the video yesterday, is the price target bubbles, not necessarily the time periods, because the price targets are more so what you're going to want to look out for. Here for Matic, essentially the exact same thing here. We have our pink bubbles denoting heavily RSI oversold territory. We just recently printed them once more. Again, I've been pointing out this similarity in this M pattern for months now. We're kind of finally coming to the very end of that, which is good to see. This has been behaving. Matic has a lot better in terms of the upward trajectory than most of the market. It's been a better performer for the most part than most other coins as well in terms of the altcoins. This one's really simple, really not too much to go over. You can see this pretty nice broad ascending resistance range lines up to the next high. Generally 50, we'll say 50 to around $132, with specifically, according to the last bull market and the phase cycle theory, me factoring that in and everything, it puts the high more specifically around like $132. Whether or not it depends upon how the double top happens, as I've been mentioning in my recent videos. But again, like I said, I would be looking out for around $50 to around $132. If for whatever reason goes lower than $7 to around $15, you can see we've been striding along the 1.7 or the 78.786, not the 1.786 recently right here. Coming down on it, we are printing those pink vector candles. We finished this M pattern that goes back to the previous M pattern before the bull market. And we are also meeting this resistance or support range going all the way back to March of 2021. We can see also MACD flip right here. We just recently crossed back below it as well. This could be a similar situation as to, you can see back here, we crossed below it for a brief period of time, and then very shortly after just ramped up the price, that's actually what lined up with the final pivot point of this previous M that I was mentioning as well. And then basically it's essentially the exact same thing here for this volume-based indicator. As I went over Doge, been seeing bullish divergence. Well, actually no bullish divergence here, but you can see that we're clearly just consolidating around this 0 point. We're also kind of forming, if you look at it this way, kind of like a megaphone type pattern eventually would, more likely according to that pattern and its probabilities break towards the upside. That really touches on everything for these altcoins. Quickly here for Bitcoin, as I mentioned last video, around $28,000 is important. We're now hitting that just now. I wouldn't say we're out of the gate yet. We could get clearly rejected from this area right here, and then come down to maybe around 25.5 thousand, stay within this descending channel, or we could dip down like I have been pointing out recently. But really, until we start to close and open on about the, I would say, 12 hours to the daily, or above 29, start to push obviously 30,000, and there's really nothing to look out for. And then obviously, there's really nothing to be sure of until we start to really break around 30.5 thousand as well. But I just wanted to quickly point this out. The RSI is rather oversold as opposed to where we are with price wise. If I even go down to the 4 hour, we can really see how oversold we are. We're more oversold than we have been going all the way back to April 26th, and we're basically as oversold as we were going back to April 11th when we hit 30,000. So that could also be indicator that we're likely not going to get this massive breakout towards the next local high, and we're likely going to just rather consolidate a little bit more. But at the end of the day, who knows what's going to happen? And none of this is financial advice, but everything being said, everything gone over, hopefully you enjoyed the content, hopefully you're able to take away something from this in an educational sense. But all that being said, I hope you all have a blessed day.
Ooh, I'm regretting now.